This is The Great Expanse by John Bab 426 here on YouTube. It is always a pleasure to record these videos, to edit them, fine-tune them, put a little sauce here, a little flavor here, put my unique spin on them. For your viewing pleasure, for your listening pleasure. And if you like the videos that you've seen thus far, hit the like button. Share these videos with other people that you know that like comic book related stuff as much as you do. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications. Which one? All. Not personalized or the one underneath, but all. So the next time a new video is dropped, you'll know about it second. I'll know about it first. One breath jam. Now, if you notice, I've been doing the one breath challenge a little slower so that it doesn't sound like a jumbled gibberish. Or just one breath jam. You're like, what did he say? So I'm making it more articulate. My speech is a little more eloquent so you can know what I'm saying. All right, now, you clicked on the thumbnail. You already know what the video is about. Netflix makes official decision on James Gunn's DCU. I'm gonna say from the gate, this might just be clickbait. Bars, I didn't even mean to do that, all right? Now, the website is The Direct. We've done several articles about The Direct before. From The Direct before. And this stuff seems a little legitimate, you know what I mean? But just because it says final decision doesn't mean that his career was in jeopardy or that his contract won't be renewed. You know what I mean? This is just to sucker us in. Like this jumped off the screen. You know what I mean? Anything about Netflix and James Gunn and the DCU. Because there's really no mystery about it. I do not like the tone thus far of Superman, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker Season 2, and the trailer for Supergirl. They all have the identical tone. Identical. IDENTICAL, the more you know. I like Creature Commandos very much. So far, Creature Commandos is the best thing that James Gunn has put out for the DCU. Secondly, Superman. Good movie, but lore-wise, horrible. Tone-wise, tonally, there are issues with Superman because it does not feel like Superman. And no, I'm not a nostalgia addict. Like, oh, everything has the beats, the familiar beats have to be like Superman from Christopher Reeve or even Man of Steel with Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder. No. If you're going to take me in a new direction, make it a good direction. Because going the wrong way is a new direction. You understand what I'm saying? So the tone so far, everything except lanterns, because I do like that little 12-second teaser, because it's the one thing that's actually grounded, even though Green Lantern is supposed to be in space and flying about and fighting intergalactic and celestial threats. Like they fly back and forth to Oa. Oa ain't nearby. Oa's far away. So that's the power of a Green Lantern. But anyway, let's get to this article before I start ranting, rambling, raving. Now, the author we've also done articles by before, Richard Nebens, all right? So it says, Netflix makes official decision on James Gunn's DCU future after WBD acquisition. So it is a done deal, seems like. Netflix is now the parent company of Warner Brothers Discovery, excuse me. James Gunn's future of the DC universe is now set in stone after a major change for Warner Brothers. So if it says it's set in stone, that means he ain't going nowhere. James Gunn's future of the DCU is no longer a question mark after the monumental merger between Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD. The movie landscape continues to go through major changes, with Netflix pushing to complete its purchase and acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery and take over operations for the legacy studio. Considering the numerous projects still slated for development in James Gunn's DCU, the franchise's future seemed to be on shaky ground following this move. So they basically told us what the whole article is about in the very first paragraph. They're just going to drag it out, okay? Because people like me were like, oh, what's going to be his future? And they were like, gotcha, sucker. Nothing. Netflix confirmed that Warner Brothers Discovery will make no major personnel changes after the WBD acquisition and purchase is complete. An official statement from the streaming giant revealed that the two businesses will operate independently of one another with the teams that currently run them. Listing out the number of jobs they have added and the money contributed to the U.S. economy, Netflix hopes to be able to do even more with WB in the fold. This is a quote from, I'm sure they'll tell us who it is. Netflix and Warner Brothers have complementary businesses, which is why we plan to continue operating them independently. with the teams that currently run them. We'll also keep growing our long-term investment in original films and series and expanding U.S. production capacity. Over the last 4 years, we've contributed over $125 billion to the U.S. economy and hired more than 140,000 cast and crew members, filming across all 50 states. With Warner Brothers, we'll be able to do even more. Over the last few weeks, as news about this merger began to go public, all indications were that James Gunn's DC studios will remain safe from any major changes in operations. This means that Gunn and DC Studios co-CEO Peter Safran will stay in their current positions and none of their plans will be adjusted. While one last DC project is being released for the end of 2025, Gunn and Safran have a hefty slate of projects in their Elseworlds and Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters slates. Confirmed 2026 releases include Supergirl in theaters on June 26, 2026, Lanterns in late summer on HBO Max, and Clayface also in theaters on September 11th, 2026. So September 11th, that date. What to expect from James Gunn's DCU after Netflix WBD merger? As noted in reports from the last few weeks, James Gunn and his team appear to be in no danger of losing their jobs or changing their strategy. The big mystery is how these two industry giants will coexist under the same parent company. While Gunn's slate of theatrical movies from both slates will still be kept in theaters, Netflix will have access to a second streaming leader in HBO Max for releases. That's dirty business right there. At least half a dozen shows from the greater DC landscape are confirmed to debut on HBO Max in 2026, with more in development beyond. This merger may not change much from that perspective, as Netflix could decide to keep these confirmed streaming series as HBO Max releases once they are ready. However, Netflix is no slouch itself when it comes to releasing its own content, and it will now have access to DC's biggest superheroes and villains. Netflix may want to expand its reach in the streaming world by creating new content for exclusive release on Netflix, making it a new home for DC's stories. There may also be productions developed for a single streamer or for both. As of writing, there are no confirmed plans for what Netflix will do with its new line of DC properties, but Gunn and Safran will be there to shepherd in the new era. And that's the end of the article. So, nothing new here. It was clickbait and I bought, you know what I mean? Let me say this. I believe that Congress should get involved. Yes, I do. Netflix is already the number one streaming service on the globe. And now they've acquired HBO Max, which is another major streaming service. So now HBO Max and Netflix are now one entity. Isn't that like a monopoly? Aren't there like antitrust laws? Can't somebody pull a rabbit out of the hat and say, this is unconscionable or something? I just don't like the idea of Netflix owning Warner Brothers. I do not like that idea. Because, how can I put it into words? I would have preferred if they would have gone to Universal or Paramount. Because to me, it just seems like this is just a cash grab for Netflix. Like, I don't know how devoted they are to the quality of DC products. Again, I'm saying I do not know. I'm not saying they definitely don't have any respect. I'm not saying that at all. But I can see WBD, like, they didn't want to be bought out by Paramount, which I think would have been better. They wanted Netflix because I think Warner Brothers Discovery just needed to unload their debt. They just needed somebody to consolidate all that debt and do something with it. You know what I mean? And obviously, being under the umbrella of Netflix, that will obviously bring a lot of resources your way. Okay? But we know James Gunn has his slate. You know what I mean? But being under the ownership of Netflix, that doesn't mean that they're not going to have their own stuff. You get what I'm saying? So now that they own DC, now think about this. Let's just go here. Netflix could easily sate all of the fans that are still hungry for Zack Snyder's DCEU. Do you understand that? James Gunn could be in his lane with Warner Brothers. Netflix could say, you know what? we're going to have our own DCEU universe with Zack Snyder under Netflix, not even under Warner Brothers, because Netflix owns it now. So the idea of a unified universe for DC, which is James Gunn's original intent when they were announced as the co-CEOs, he and Peter Safran, for DC Studios, Netflix is now calling the shots. They could potentially start their own DC universe apart from James Gunn's, and DC will be in production hell for the upcoming future because Netflix ain't going nowhere. If this is going through, I mean, if the sale is complete, the purchase is complete, DC is just at the mercy of Netflix now. Now, do I believe that James Gunn has malicious intent for DC? I do not. But there's a 4-letter word that begins with a T. All right. That is my main issue and concern with James Gunn stuff. Tone. 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 I'm watching Superman in Los Angeles with friends because we had a meetup or whatever. I'm like, okay, story-wise is all right. Visually, splendiferous. I love the visuals of this movie. But he's recuperating for the second time in the movie. You know what I mean? He's getting the solar Sahara, whatever. They said the Saharan Prime or something. So he's getting beamed by the sun again. He's looking at his earthly parents now. The messages that he got as a child, you know, as they instilled their Midwest values in him. He's watching them on this sort of circular presentation thing. And the song from, is it Iggy Pop? It's not Rob Zombie. I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. That's how the movie goes off. That tone, I said this tone is not Superman's tone. This tone makes Superman Booster Gold. This tone makes Superman Star-Lord. There is nothing triumphant about I'm a punk rocker. That should have been a snippet, I'm a punk rocker, during the movie. When Clark and Lois are having their talk, you know, when Clark's recuperating at the Kent home, you could have she could have like pressed like this boombox and just had, because I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. And Clark had said, hey, I know them, because I'm a punk. That'd have been a great snippet. But instead, the movie goes off to this Guardians of the Galaxy feel. And guess what? They don't stop there. They double down. Because they play I'm a punk rocker. Then they play this Crap Joys, that's what it should have been called. Crap Joys. So now they are reinforcing this goofy, laughable, slapstick tone for the premier superhero in our collective consciousness. Tone. That is my primary issue with the DCU. Tone. Now, Lanterns looks like it's going to be a little bit of a departure from this sort of mind-warping James Gunn sense of humor and whatever, his slant on things. You know how I have my own unique spin on things? James Gunn has his slant on things, or his own slant on things. I'm just begging him. I'm like, will you stop using the Guardians of the Galaxy formula? You've done it to death already. We only have one movie. And your formula has just been repeating itself. It's been multiplying. It's like sprinkling water on the Mogwai. Now we got gremlins all over the place. Except they look the exact same. They all have the same tone. Superman, goofy tone. Creature Commandos, goofy tone. Peacemaker, goofy tone. The trailer for Supergirl, maybe not as goofy, but there's still the same James Gunn beats on this trailer. I don't know why I'm doing it like this, but I'm like, James, you're painting yourself into a corner, sir. I'm not gonna be disrespectful because it's only about movies. But sir, you are painting yourself into a corner. Please stop. Please make Superman's movies about Superman Not about Superman, not about Metamorpho, not about Guy Gardner, not about Hawkgirl, not about Mr. Terrific, not about a clone of Superman already. Can you make it about Superman? Singularly? Now, according to, I believe, James Gunn himself, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, which is the sequel to Superman, I think he said it's going to be sharing screen time with Lex Luthor. Can we get a Superman movie about Superman? Yes, he was the nucleus of this first movie, but you got all these moving parts. You got a Green Lantern, and an unpopular Green Lantern at that, with a goofy haircut, Hawkgirl screaming people's ears off, killing the head of state of Baravia. I was like, how the freak did she get away with that? Mr. Terrific was very good. I like Mr. Terrific. Metamorpho, what's the actor's name? Anthony something. I really like him in that HBO special, and he was great as Victor Zsasz in Gotham. But here, there's a lot of prosthetic, there's a lot of makeup, so you don't really see Carrigan. Is it Anthony Carradine? Carrigan? Something like that. I really like this actor. There's a lot of makeup, a lot of prosthetic, a lot of CGI, so I don't really feel Anthony's performance and all that layered makeup and all that stuff. And again, this isn't a knock against the movie. It's just my personal whatever, because I like the actor, Anthony Carradine or Carrigan, something like that. Let me look it up real fast, just so I can sort of have an idea of what I'm talking about. He was on that show with Bill Hader. Carrigan. What was that special called? Barry. The one that Bill Hader was the star of. He was always in that show. Anthony Carrigan, great actor. Sort of, he has an intimidating persona to him, like as he portrays his characters. I don't know what he's like in real life. But as Metamorpho, there was so much stuff that sort of overshadowed his performance as an actor, in my opinion. Okay, and this is the first time I'm saying this. I haven't really gone into depth about how Metamorpho, a powerful character, just there was so much stuff wrong with this movie. So much stuff wrong. Anthony Carrigan, great actor. I hope to see him again as Metamorpho. Hopefully, it'll be an ensemble cast movie instead of just a Superman movie with an ensemble cast in it that wasn't needed. The Justice Gang. Lord help me. Anyway, so that was the article. How do you feel about Netflix being the owners of Warner Brothers Discovery? You kind of heard how I feel about it. How do you feel about it? Leave a comment, leave a dissertation if necessary. A dissertation is a very wordy document. Okay, you usually write those when you're in grad school. Write a freaking grad paper in the comment section if you need to, if you have to give a lot of stuff off your chest. And where do those comments or dissertations go? That's where they go. Thank you. David Brent, Wareham Hawks Finest, The Office UK. Do your part, I'll do my part. So The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will expand. It's in the name.